explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. He's accomplished black gay Christian and gun hiding, and the author of the upcoming book, Loneliness of the Accomplished Black, none other than Mr. Shermain Melton.
Yes, yes.
Welcome, Mr. Charmaine on Abstract Essay. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I
Yes, so my name is Shermain Melton. I'm on an impossible and important mission to save lives lost to loneliness. And so a lot of my work is around that and creating belonging and spaces for accomplished Black men to thrive.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Charmaine. Thank you. And today let's talk about your upcoming book, The Loneliness. Yeah,
Yeah.
When will be this published?
Yes, and so my book is titled The Loneliness of the Accomplished Black Man. And this book is for accomplished black men who know the loneliness and the struggles of leading in a white world. And so the published date is April 30th. I want to have this out into the world April 30th.
Definitely. You check every box society said would lead to fulfillment: the degree, the title, the salary. So, why does the view from the top feel so isolating?
Yeah, and so I'll speak. So that's a great question, and I'm going to speak specific to the Black experience. And so one of the reasons, actually, I'm going to start with the story. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So my partner and I, at the time, we found a church that we liked, and we had been attending there for about a year or so, and we wanted to serve in the leadership capacity. And so my partner set up a meeting with the pastor. And on the Sunday morning, driving to the church, I was thinking to myself, I wasn't thinking about leadership. I wasn't thinking about anything. The only thing I could think about is, will they accept me after I've shared my secret?
Mm.
And so before I walked into this pastor's office to have this conversation, I considered leading with my father, my dad being an ordained minister, or my high character, or as you mentioned, my degrees and my integrity and my work ethic, or that I've handled $1 million in cash, or my track record of building great teams, all these great things about who I am. And then I stopped myself, because what I was doing is I was trying to deliver a story. I wanted him to believe this story so that I could have a positive outcome, instead of delivering the truth of who I am, because that truth might cause me to be rejected. And what I was doing was I was posturing. I wanted to manage my image instead of being me. And this is not how I want to show up in the world. And so in that moment, that's what I was thinking. And so I walked into the pastor's office. I said, I'm Charmaine. Hey, I'm gay and I want to be a leader here. And the pastor said two things. He said, number one, no one's ever done that before. And number two, you cannot serve here as a deacon or a usher or a minister, but you can do landscaping, you can watch parked cars on the security team, or you can serve food in the kitchen. And at that moment, I felt small. I felt angry and I felt resentment, because I felt like I was I was good enough to be a cook or to do manual work, but not good enough to lead at a high level. And so um, this is important to me, because I spoke my truth in that moment, and I didn't get what I wanted, but what I did get was confidence. I walked out of that room feeling really confident, feeling in my integrity, feeling proud about how I showed up. And that's the first thing I want to say.
So, Mr. Shermain, thank you for sharing that story. Truly empowering. When you walk into the boardroom and scan the table, do you feel sense of pride or a pang of loneliness?
Do I feel a sense of pride? So my work today is as an executive coach, and so I don't spend a lot of time in boardrooms these days. But I can remember a moment when I was working in corporate, and I would look at the boardroom and I would say, "Wow, you know what? I'm happy I'm not in that boardroom or in that room." Um, and so because of it didn't feel like me. And the work I do today is around helping leaders, accomplished Black leaders, own their truth and stand in who they are at wherever table they're at, in meetings, in life, with family. That's the foundation of the work that I do.
If you were honest with yourself, how many colleagues could you call tonight if needed to process a racial slight without having to explain why it's done?
Yeah, how many colleagues could I call? A ton. So I've developed, and this is something I work with my clients on, and what I call this is an ecosystem. And so I have an ecosystem of people and places and things around me that I can use to help me shift my thinking, to help me really come back to who I am if I feel like I'm not showing up in my power. So I have multiple people that I can reach out to, that I can be real with and upfront with. Yeah.
Mr. Sherman, is the silence at the top louder than the noise of the climb ever was?
Is the silence louder than the noise? Yeah,
Yes.
it's a good question. Let me see, how do I want to answer that? So the silence is not louder. So the silence is tricky. It is silent. You can't even sense. It's hard if you're not listening to sense what's happening. Um, and also, this depends on the person. I have a distinction that I bring in. You spoke about silence. Um, a distinction around loneliness and being alone. And the distinction for me is being alone is about about physically being alone. It's about not having anyone else in the room with you. Whereas loneliness is about what's on the inside. Loneliness is about feeling comfortable and confident in your body with who you are, with how you show up in the world. And so, um, being silent, is is a result of something deeper. It's a result of fear, fear of rejection, for example. uh, Having fear of rejection or feeling that fear of rejection causes people to hold back, causes them to become silent, and that's what I help my leaders with, what I help people with.
Very well said, Mr. Shermain. What part of your authentic self do you lock in the car before you walk through the office doors each morning?
What part of my authentic self do I lock in the cars before I walk into the door? Nothing. Yeah, I don't do that work. So so what I do is I help my leaders feel seen and valued, and to bring more of who they are into any room that they walk into. And um, so I of course need to model that behavior. And so one of the things that I do is, um, right before I walk into a room. So, right, so picture, I'm getting out of my car, I'm walking to the building, I'm walking to, let's say, the room that I'm going to be speaking in, or that I'm going to be serving in. I do this thing to where when I walk through that threshold, there's no hiding. It's sort of this physical thing that I do when I cross that threshold. Whatever fears, doubts, insecurities, any of that stuff stays outside, and I walk in powerful, authentic, rooted, connected, and really owning who I am and in my power.
So, Sherman, are you leading or are you performing a version of leadership that was written for someone who doesn't look like you?
Can you repeat the question again? Am I leading or
Yeah.
performing?
Yes, a version of leadership that was written for someone who doesn't look like you.
Uh, for someone that doesn't look like me. So I would say probably I've not spent a lot of time there, but as part of who I am today is a result of all of my past experiences. And so I live in Phoenix, Arizona. Here it is 5% black. And so something I speak about quite often is that level of loneliness of not being around people who look like me. And so there's a version of leadership that I'm sure that I've picked up from the white majority of culture, um, and as a result of my upbringing. So I would say, yeah, some of that is probably true. And so I spent a lot of time as a coach in investing in my own growth, my own development, my own coach to help me see the things that I don't see, so that I can show up as as who I am, as authentically me. And the challenge with that is I had to invest time and energy and money to go deep and to look in these spaces and places where I was hiding, or where I was holding back, or these spaces where I my normal way of being. This is why I need a coach to help us see the normal way of being, and so that we can adjust or shift things.
How much of your daily energy is spent on making white colleagues feel comfortable around your success, Mr.
Yeah.
Sherman?
Yeah, that's a great question. How much time or energy is spent making white colleagues feel comfortable around my success? Not a lot now. I don't
Mhm.
work in the corporate space. I'm self-employed. I run my own business, and it's on my website. I'm not here to make people feel comfortable. So I'm here
Mhm.
to challenge them, to help have them stand in their courage, to be authentically themselves. And so, of course, I need to model that as well.
Very well said. Let's talk about the redefining courage and leadership.
Mhm.
What would it mean to lead from your culture truth instead of despite it?
Let's see, to lead from my culture truth. Culture or truth. Is that what the words you used?
Yes.
Yeah, the first one, the culture for me is a little bit hard, because I think about, okay, what is being a black man? What is that about? What does that really mean? And so for me, that first bit is hard, because again, I grew up here in Phoenix, 5% black people here, grew up not really around a lot of others who look like me. And so that cultural bit, um, I work with every single day. Um, what was the second part of your question? Cultural and
Cultural and authentic of you.
authentic of me. So authentic self. And so I've done a lot of work to really uncover who am I at my core?
Hmm.
Who am I at my core? And which has nothing to do with my culture. Who am I at my core? What are my core values? So for example, one of them is courage.
Hmm.
And so I've lived a life. If I were to look back at the things that I've done, courage has been present throughout my lifetime. And so the authentic me, in order to find that, yeah, I had to go back and really look at how do I show up, and what are some threads in how I show up, and how do those connect to my core values.
Well said, Mr. Shermain. Is courage for you about fitting into existing power structure or about having the audacity to reshape it?
Yeah, great question. Courage for me, I define courage as doing the thing with fear. So, um, there's another definition, which is like courage is around sort of overcoming fear. That's a common definition I hear. Overcoming fear. I don't believe that. So what I believe is courage. Courage is about acknowledging the fear. You need to first acknowledge that it exists,
Yes.
and instead of waiting until you've surpassed it, overcome it, uh, what I encourage and what I teach is to acknowledge it and to take it with you. Instead of seeing fear as something to get over, see it as something that's a part of you, um, and take it with you, so that you're not holding back and waiting to overcome the fear, because you'll stay stuck that way.
When the next generation of black men looks at your career, will they see a blueprint of survival or a model of thriving?
Yeah, definitely thriving. But I'd say they'd see both actually. So in the early days, I grew up. My parents, I have 7 siblings, and we grew up in poverty. And so there were some days there, early on, where it was all about survival. And I grew up with one thought, which is I don't want to be an adult and be in the same position that I am today as an adult. And so that thought drove me to become successful, to become educated, to become debt free, to become accomplished, to go after the things that I wanted, so that I didn't stay in poverty, which is where I came from.
Mr. Charmaine, what responsibility do you carry, whether you ask or yeah, whether you ask for it or not, to make the path easier for those coming behind you?
Yeah, great question. This is one of the chapters of my book is titled "The Weight of Responsibility." So I'm speaking to this. Um, Personally, the weight that I carry, and I think other accomplished black men carry as well, is this the weight of responsibility of wanting to do well, so that it clears the path for the ones that come after us, so that it makes it a little bit easier for the ones that come after us. And there's a weight also around how we show up. We want to not be performative, but we want to show up in our power. We don't want to, I'm going to use the words, um, a bad mark. We don't want to make a mistake that has the chance to make it harder for those that come after us. We also don't want to embarrass us. We don't want to be an embarrassment to our culture. And so there's a
Mm,
huge weight, that accomplished black men carry every single day.
well said, Mr. Charmaine. If you don't claim your seat at the table with your full self, who are you signaling the next table should belong to?
Yeah. So we know if you don't claim your seat at the table as your full self, um, well, we already know. So the current world we live in is most of the higher up you go in leadership, the more it looks a certain way, right? The white majority culture is how it looks, and so um, and there's a number of reasons for that. And um, what I'm here to say is if you're an accomplished black man or accomplished black leader, it's important to own who you are. It's important to create an ecosystem, have a system of people and places and things around you that you can go to, that you can access at any moment, to help you with whatever it is you're going through. Someone you can talk to and be real with, someone who will tell you the truth, tell you the things that you don't want to hear, but you know they've got your back.
Very well said. Very well said, Mr. Charmaine. And what legacy are you building?
What
One of
legacy
the
am I building?
quiet, yes, one of the quiet endurance, or one of the unapologetic presence.
Yeah. Um, Unapologetic. And so that's on my website. I speak about who I am and unapologetically owning who you are. This is what I help my clients with, unapologetically owning who they are, owning especially the parts of them that they don't want to own, the parts of them that they feel shame around. Um, those are the parts that's where your power is, when you can more completely own who you are and stand in that.
Mr. Sherman, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season, abstract poetry in third season, and my book 101 review in sixth season two, comedy 101 fourth season, and my food 101 in sixth season two, geography 101 love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 are in fifth season, Science 101, Sex 101 in fourth season, and please do listen to my new baby podcast or baby podcast, Trivia 101, Motivation 101, Spiritual Awakening 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and Law 101, Mental Health 101, Coaching 101, of course, my Bible verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Charmaine, if loneliness is the price of admission for accomplished black men in leadership, who told you that you had to keep paying it?
Who told you you had to keep paying it? Well, I think, yeah, I don't think anyone has told us that. But I think it is, as I think about that, who told us we had to pay it? No one. It is something that loneliness is something that we don't talk about,
Mm-hmm.
especially as Black Americans. No one talks about it, and so I'm talking about it. I'm bringing it to the surface, and this part of my mission to save lives lost to loneliness.
And we salute you for that, Mr. Charmaine. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And can you please invite our listeners to support your upcoming book, The Loneliness of the Accomplished Black Man?
Yes, yes. If you go to my website at shermainmelton.com, you can click on the book and register to get on the wait list for my book. I appreciate it.
Yes, indeed, people. Let's support Mr. Charmaine because if you support him for sure, more and more empowering book like this to rise. So, Mr. Charmaine, I'm inviting you to be part of my book 101 review, and let's talk about the writing process of your debut book. And let's promote over there.
All right.
So, I have one more question before I will let you go. What responsibility or what do the next generation black men can do better than you?
What can the next generation of Black men do better than me? That's a really difficult question to answer, because now we're comparing two different people. But a voice that, something I would tell anyone who's listening, who's an accomplished Black man, I would say to be in your courage. Everything you want is on the other side of your courage. A courageous conversation, for example, that's where the gold is. That's where the gold is.
Mm. So, what if the greatest leadership asset is not your ability to assimilate, but your willingness to be unmistakably you?
Yeah, that's something I speak about, is being well, that is your greatest asset, is being yourself. And sometimes it's really difficult, especially if you are an accomplished Black man in a white world where there are less there are there you're not necessarily around people who look like you. It'd be really difficult.
Mr. Charmaine, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, Daniel. Thank you for having me.
More to come, people. See you soon.